that rock and roll, that future flow.
Welcome to Watch Mojo. And today, we're counting down our picks for the artists who most blatantly put their commercial aspirations ahead of their artistic integrity. Number 30. Rod Stewart. If you only know him for his biggest hits, it might shock you to learn Rod Stewart once had actual musical cred.
Fare thee well, my brother, please don't stand in my way.
His 1969 solo debut album has been compared to the Rolling Stones' classic Beggar's Banquet. In fact, it even opens up with a cover of Street Fighting Man from that same album. His early work was an enticing blend of genres, including folk, rock, and blues, with his third album, Every Picture Tells a Story, being widely considered a masterpiece.
So remember, every picture tells a story, don't it? Every picture tells a story, don't it?
However, his shift to disco, successful as it was clearly him trying to cash in on a trend.
You want my body and you think I'm sexy, come on, honey, tell me so.
And with time, the idea of Rod Stewart as anything resembling a daring artist seemed absurd.
Baby, I need your love.
Number 29. Heart. Women making heavy rock music is nothing unusual these days, but when Heart arrived on the scene, they changed the game forever. However, as the 70s became the 80s, Ann and Nancy Wilson's hard rock became far less substantial.
What about love? Don't you want someone to care about you?
And there's a world of difference between the guitar-driven power of Barracuda and the synth-pop power ballad These Dreams, which became their first #1 hit.
These dreams go on when I close my eyes.
In a 2012 interview with Rolling Stone, Ann Wilson said they felt stifled by changing industry expectations for artists in the age of MTV. Heart's place in rock history is sealed regardless, but it's a shame they weren't given more room to experiment.
Every moment I'm awake, the further I'm away.
Number 28. Goo Goo Dolls. The Goo Goo Dolls' self-titled debut album from 1987 is absolutely unrecognizable compared to who they'd eventually become. It's a raw punk rock album that sounds like it was recorded in a basement.
When I went down to your office the other day, only to discover you had gone astray.
As the 90s rolled in, they cleaned up their sound and saw their star rise. And then, it absolutely exploded with the soaring smash hit ballad, Iris, which soon became a radio staple.
And I don't want the world to see me.
The Goo Goo Dolls, understandably, never matched that song's success, but it essentially cemented them as being as far removed from anything remotely punk or alternative as they could possibly be.
I just want you to know I am.
Number 27. Moby. Selling out is a broad term, but few things describe it better than someone literally selling their music for use in commercials and other media. Granted, Moby wasn't the only artist to do this, but his case was especially egregious. In the 90s, he helped to bring electronic music to the mainstream. His best songs managed to be hypnotically groovy in ways few could resist. His fifth album, Play, became a huge success in no small part because every single song was licensed. This means people were constantly hearing his music, whether they liked it or not. It almost certainly helped that album to sell more than 12 million copies globally, though.
I'm going over here sometime.
Number 26. Chicago. Accomplished jazz rock with pop appeal isn't easy, but Chicago managed to pull it off. In the late 60s and early 70s, they demonstrated both impeccable musical chops and fantastic songwriting instincts.
Should I try to do some more?
As is often the case, however, their music got streamlined to the point of losing any sense of, well, inspiration.
You're the meaning in my life. You're the inspiration.
About the only thing linking them to their classic days was the fact that they had a horn section. The tragic accidental death of guitarist Terry Kath in 1978 likely played a major role in Chicago losing their sense of direction.
If it's gotta be this way.
Chicago, in various forms, have managed to stay together, but the era of them making legitimately impressive music has long passed.
Don't look at me. I don't want you to see me.
Number 25. Jewel. There was nothing flashy about Jewel's first album, and that's what made it so special.
He says, hold my calls from behind those cold brick walls. Says, come here, boy, there ain't nothing for free.
The folk artist's debut album, Pieces of You, was full of raw, lyrical honesty and even earned her the endorsement of Bob Dylan himself.
Who will save your soul when it comes to the beller's mouth?
While she always had plenty of pop appeal, she attempted to shift to full-on dance pop with her fifth album, 0304. Lead single, Intuition, was a clear bid for radio and MTV airplay. Though it was ostensibly mocking celebrity culture and consumerism, that was quickly undermined by being used to sell chic razors. People soon realized Jewel wasn't the next Britney, and she soon went back to a more stripped-down style. It just goes to show that selling out comes at a cost. Number 24. Pitbull. Pitbull was always something of a party rapper. Early releases balanced the Miami MC's club stylings with a hard-hitting flow and willingness to tackle tough subjects.
Rolling through the back streets, them boys don't applaud, but they clap heat.
But the man, also known as Mr. Worldwide, soon set his sights on being as broadly appealing as possible.
Kanye no style, J-Lo no air, 50 no beat, Jay-Z no cash.
His fourth album marked a clear shift to pop rap that became his signature. He's also endorsed a myriad of brands, including Kodak, Dr. Pepper, and Walmart. However, he takes being called a sellout in stride.
In Trinidad they get crazy, Jamaica they get crazy, Australia they get crazy.
Talking to Vanity Fair in 2016, he said, I did sell out. I sell out arenas. I sell out stadiums. I sell out a bunch of things all around the world. We certainly can't argue with that.
Let's get loose, have some fun, forget about bills in the first of the month.
Number 23. U2. Saying a band is sold out doesn't have to mean their music no longer has creative merit. Case in point, U2. The Irish rockers first emerged with intense, often politically charged post-punk. But by the time they released their classic fifth album, The Joshua Tree, they had decidedly staked their claim in the mainstream. Many more great albums followed, but at a certain point, it was clear that Bono and company just couldn't help but be larger than life.
It's a beautiful day.
As much as we like hits such as Beautiful Day and Vertigo, they're rather shameless in their commercial aspirations. And their partnership with Apple, including an ill-fated decision to put their 2014 album Songs of Innocence on everyone's iPhone, makes U2 amazingly talented sellouts. Number 22. Snoop Dogg. At this point, it might be easier just to name the artists Snoop Dogg hasn't collaborated with.
May I kick a little something for the G's and make a few ends as I breeze through.
Among the esteemed acts to receive a feature from the legendary Snoop D.O.G.G. are Limp Bizkit, the Pussycat Dolls, Katy Perry, and Corey Feldman.
Bend my cup, let it push in my blood. Which one of you hoes is rolling with us? Cause if you win,
In a way, it's admirable that he's willing to collaborate with such a wide array of artists. But when you lend your voice to more than 500 non-singles, quality control isn't exactly a concern.
shake what your mama gave you, misbehave you. I just wanna strip you, dip you, flip you, bubble babe you.
And while he came up as a pioneer of G-Funk, Snoop is now arguably better known for being Snoop than for his music. Still, there are certainly worse things to be known for.
And can you wiggle, wiggle for the D-O-double-G again?
Number 21. Starship. Is it possible for a band's entire existence to be a matter of selling out? The evolution of psych rock band Jefferson Airplane into arena rockers Jefferson Starship might have seemed like selling out at the time.
You can find me where the wind blows, stone across the plain.
But once that band morphed into Starship, any semblance of integrity had all but vanished.
Don't you remember?
The world's introduction to this new band was We Built This City, a popular choice for worst songs of all time lists.
We built this city.
Even if you can find enjoyment in Starship's corporate rock cheese, it has absolutely nothing in common with what made Jefferson Airplane so special.
We built this city on rock and roll.
Number 20. Weezer. Weezer changed the image of rock stars in the 90s. The nerdy punks were outcasts among outcasts, acclaimed for their clever lyrics and ironically edged tone.
This way is a water slide away from me that takes it fuller every day.
But after mixed reactions to the Puccini-inspired album Pinkerton, they went on hiatus. The subsequent comeback was marked by cornier pop sensibilities, especially after the teeny bopper hit Beverly Hills.
Beverly Hills, that's where I want to be.
Weezer continued to enjoy great success with a straight-faced take on pop rock, much to classic fans' lack of enjoyment. Newer listeners and critics have generally appreciated the experimentation, including the more classic styles going into the 2020s. Of course, with those styles entailing a cover album and hair metal homages, Weezer aren't as subversive as they used to be.
My head is spinning. It's the beginning of the end.
Number 19. 30 Seconds to Mars. Movie star frontman Jared Leto initially gave 30 Seconds to Mars more commercial appeal than most experimental rock bands.
So I run high and tear myself up.
With guitarist Tomo Milicevic, they began exploring an alternative aesthetic that truly matched critical acclaim with mainstream success. They even exposed persisting music industry injustices with a high-profile lawsuit against EMI Records. That's why it's so frustrating that the band went full pop after the personnel was reduced to Jared and Shannon Leto. Even for a group known for genre bending, this was a drastic shift.
Rescue me from the lovers in my life.
Many critics and fans were disappointed, but 30 Seconds remains popular. Who needs EMI when you have lucrative pop labels like Interscope and Concord? Well, they don't offer much for rock loyalists.
That will set this world on fire.
Number 18. Bring Me the Horizon. It was hard to accuse Bring Me the Horizon of selling out when they first abandoned deathcore. Following their debut album's lukewarm reception, the band won a dedicated following with elevated melodic metalcore.
Time stood still the way it did before.
They even developed a unique level of mainstream appeal for that genre. This naturally continued when Ali Sykes stopped screaming altogether for 2015's That's the Spirit.
So you can throw me to the wall. Tomorrow I will come back, leader of the whole pack.
Still, extreme metalheads were shocked by the shift to pop and electronic rock from there. BMTH were finally chart toppers. but they divided fans. Some appreciated their experimentation within a lighter sound, while others were frustrated with the sound itself. Luckily, BMTH has been gradually returning to metalcore, with continued commercial success. For better or worse, it still took dulling their edge to get there. Number 17. Nickelback. Some believe the love 'em or hate 'em lore of Nickelback goes back to the beginning.
I'm not a leader of men.
In fact, they were a hit early on for bringing rugged 90s grunge into the 2000s. Many even consider their breakout single, How You Remind Me, to be a genuine classic.
It's not like you to say sorry. I was waiting on a different story.
However, suspicions of trend leeching arose as Nickelback drifted from grunge to generic pop-oriented hard rock. The sentimental power ballads and sleazy party anthems particularly polarized listeners.
Nobody wants to go it on their own. Everyone wants to know they're not alone.
Before long, backlash online and from the rock community became a cliche in its own right. Nickelback remains one of the best-selling rock bands of our time, with a quietly ample fan base. But they continue to openly embrace the mainstream brand, even as a group people love to hate.
What would you be doing back in those days?
Number 16. Fall Out Boy. Fall Out Boy were a fixture of 2000s pop punk, emphasis on pop.
This is side one. Flip me over.
Their infectious and subversive energy hooked a cult fan base before the album From Under the Cork Tree broke them out.
Going down, around, and Sugarwood going down swinging.
They continued to balance dynamic musicianship and stardom until they disbanded in 2009. By then, though, Fall Out Boy had started to fall off into pop tropes with their music and industry brand.
Idiot, please. Let's hear it for America's sweetheart.
This trend continued after they regrouped in 2013. They even collaborated with the likes of DJ Steve Aoki, rappers Jay-Z and Lil Wayne, and Taylor Swift. Many fans have fallen out with Fall Out Boy over this loss of irony. But they can't argue with the band's growing success or their return to form with 2023's So Much for Stardust.
Sending my love from the other side of the apocalypse.
Number 15. Kings of Leon. Kings of Leon have always been a proper family affair for the Follow-Wills.
You want it, she got it. Molly's tangled on a chain of mine.
Their nitty-gritty mix of garage rock and bluesy southern rock moved critics, but saw uneven sales. With Only by Night, focus moved more toward anthemic hooks and other commercial elements. The album was a worldwide sensation, spawning the signature songs Sex on Fire and Use Somebody. New fans didn't realize that these hits were a departure from Kings of Leon's edgier early work. The band itself seemed to lose sight of that as they drifted into alternative and indie. The Follow-Wills may still be truly independent artists, but their prosperity has come at the expense of a truly original style. Number 14. Foo Fighters. As the drummer for Nirvana, Dave Grohl represented 90s grunge at its rawest. He really changed his tune as frontman for the Foo Fighters. The post-grunge Trailblazers became one of the biggest bands around, mixing brighter hard rock into alternative grit. And yet, over time, they become a parody of this persona. Grohl's once relatively wholesome image and music industry networking are a far cry from the late Kurt Cobain's cynicism. By the 2010s, the Foo Fighters completely pivoted to mainstream rock and even pop. Never mind jamming with David Lee Roth, Justin Timberlake, and deadmau5. The Foo Fighters remain highly respected as true music lovers, But however you feel about it, they may formally represent the demise of anti-establishment grunge. Number 13. Sugar Ray. Contrary to their name, Sugar Ray wasn't always so sweet.
Main machine! Main machine!
I better say, Sonny, don't drive and drinking.
They spent most of the 90s in the new metal craze, with edgy funk and risque imagery. They also mingled many genres without scoring a proper hit. Then the most heavy album, Floored, took a turn into reggae fusion with Fly.
I just wanna fly.
The unexpected summer sensation convinced Sugar Ray to clean up their act with frilly pop rock.
Every morning there's a halo hanging from the corner of my girlfriend's four-post bed.
They became one of the hottest party bands of the early 2000s, and even many critics warmed up to them. Still, it was such a radical stylistic change that metal fans had to admit that Sugar Ray were in that genre for the fad. At least the band has never really acted otherwise.
Our favorite TV shows have gone out the window.
Number 12. Rage Against the Machine. Selling out doesn't always mean sacrificing your sound or even your politics.
Some of those that work forces draw the same that burn crosses.
Rage Against the Machine did more than set the standard for rap metal. They brought an intensely anti-capitalist, anti-establishment agenda to a wide audience. But many true believers believe they sold their soul to do it.
Jesus bless me with his future, and I protect it with fire.
RATM's star-making deal with Epic Records, a subsidiary of Sony, sparked underground controversy. Then came the merch, the movie soundtracks, and more. Guitarist Tom Morello maintains that fortune was a small price to pay to promote the cause. He and his bandmates remain dedicated socialism activists and philanthropists. Alas, the consistently growing music industry presence and concert prices, with no new material over 2 reunions, point to the revolution being co-opted.
Now testify! Testify!
Number 11. Gwen Stefani. It's not unusual for band members to go a more mainstream direction in their solo careers, but Gwen Stefani is a case unlike any other. The ska punk outfit No Doubt made the singer an alternative idol throughout the 90s. Their unique style and underdog spirit superseded the pop elements. By the time No Doubt first disbanded, Stefani became one of the music industry's most quintessential pop stars. From dance to hip-hop to a Christmas album, she achieved immense commercial success on her own. Bringing that flamboyant persona to other media and fashion design has further made her iconic. It's hard to believe that this pop diva was once a punk, but Stefani herself admits that her lucrative solo brand was contrived. Number 10. Aerosmith. Throughout the 1970s, Aerosmith was one of the biggest bands in the world. However, in the 1980s, internal conflicts ruined the band and their popularity suffered as a result, making for some less than stellar years for the once great group. In order to regain their status as rock and roll kings, they collaborated with rap group Run DMC in a rather risky but also genius career move. Their following Permanent Vacation went on to go multi-platinum, restoring the band's cool factor until I Don't Want to Miss a Thing once again earned the ire of fans in 1998. Number 9. Liz Phair. One of the most influential artists of the 90s, alt-rock queen Liz Phair could seemingly do no wrong by the turn of the millennium. That was until she was offered some extra cash to do work with the masterminds behind pop stars Avril Lavigne and Hilary Duff.
Get a load of me, get a load the street and I hardly know you.
With the release of her 2003 self-titled pop rock album, the backlash towards the singer was endless, with one review from Pitchfork giving the album 0 out of 10 and accusing Phair of being reduced to cheap publicity stunts.
Why can't I breathe whenever I think about you?
The hate train didn't quite die down thereafter either, as her next two releases received mixed reviews. However, her 2021 album Soberish brought her back to her indie rock roots to positive reception.
I don't wanna think about it, 'cause thinking about it is too hard.
Number 8. Nicki Minaj. All right. Hear us out. Before Superbass established Nicki as a pop star sensation, she was spitting fire as an underground rapper, and a pretty talented one at that.
I don't wanna hear what you would, what you coulda. I represent all the girls that stood up. Used to drink whatever that let I better sugar.
Originally signed to indie label Dirty Money Entertainment, Minaj quickly made a name for herself through several critically acclaimed mixtapes before becoming noticed by Lil Wayne.
He say, Nicki, don't stop, you the bestest. And I just be coming off the top as bestest.
This was followed by her debut, Pink Friday, and being heavily featured on Kanye West's My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Let me get this straight, wait, I'm the rookie, but my features in my shows 10 times your pay.
One brief stint as a judge on American Idol, and a few highly successful, though some might say generic, mainstream pop songs later, and Nicki Minaj has longtime fans scratching their heads. And various personal controversies haven't helped matters either. Number 7. David Guetta. Guetta is a DJ and remix artist from France known for a unique electro house sound that no one else can fully replicate.
Just a little more love, just a little more peace, is all it takes.
However, his third studio album, Pop Life, featured vocals from popular British singer Tara McDonald. His collaborations didn't end there, as he was soon working with stars like Akon, Nicki Minaj, and Snoop Dogg. Means he hasn't quite been able to shake his ties to pop music.
I wanna make you sweat. I just wanna make you sweat.
We're not saying going pop inherently means selling out, but EDM fans in general, and Guetta in particular, has said that as he's found his mainstream groove, his music has lost its soul. Guetta's said frequently that he's not trying to be credible, he's trying to be incredible. We'll just leave that there.
Say my name, if you love me, let me hear you.
Number 6. Taylor Swift. While T Swift was always a popular artist, you can clearly see when she started trying to court the widest audience possible.
Said the way my blue eyes shine, put those Georgia stars to shame that night.
She started as a sweet and innocent country girl, singing cute tunes about boys and receiving acclaim and popularity for doing so. It wasn't until 2012's Red that listeners began noticing a distinct change in her sound.
We are never, ever, ever getting back together.
That is, until 2014's 1989 burst into full-blown pop territory.
'Cause the players gonna play, and the haters gonna hate.
Soon enough, she went from being one of the most famous artists around to being arguably the most famous person in the entire world. We doubt that would happen if she had stuck with country.
It's a cruel summer.
Number 5. Maroon 5. Don't deny it, songs like Sunday Morning and This Love were your jam back in the early 2000s.
This love has taken its toll on me.
They were fun, light songs, but with meaning and care put behind them. So we imagine you were excited to see what the band had in store for you next.
She said that too many times before.
You may have been disappointed by what Adam Levine and the boys dished up, with some accusing them of focusing too much on the hunky and bankable looks of their frontman and not enough on actual musical artistry.
Take me by the tongue and I'll know you. Kiss me till you're drunk and I'll show you.
Gone were the blue-eyed, soul-inspired tunes of the group's debut, and in their place were admittedly catchy yet undeniably poppy productions that just didn't live up to what fans had to expect from them.
I've got the moves like Jagger.
Number 4. Coldplay. Coldplay was one of the most important legacies of Britpop in the 2000s.
Look at the stars, look how they shine for you.
Their rich alternative anthems and haunting ballads led a new generation of British rock.
Nobody said it was easy.
But after they swept the Grammys with their art pop-oriented album Viva La Vida, the art part started to slip. Coldplay began to focus on more arena-filling hits and collaborations with the least alternative artists in the industry. That includes Kylie Minogue, Beyoncé, Selena Gomez, and BTS. Chris Martin has even milked his image as an eccentric artist and frontman. Coldplay's initial demographic has practically become their biggest haters. They may have never abandoned their personnel or personal artistry, but their stylistic shift is one of the most polarizing in modern rock. Number 3. Metallica. Metallica was easily one of the best and most popular heavy metal bands throughout the 80s, creating masterpieces like Master of Puppets and Justice for All played with rapid precision and power.
I cannot live, I cannot die, trapped in myself, body my only self.
Then 1991 happened. Critics and hardcore fans alike criticized the band's eponymous album for its more radio-friendly direction, with softened guitars and lyrics.
And nothing else matters.
The band's image changed as well, but to the chagrin of avid listeners, these alterations were met with decent record sales and not abject failure. Ultimately, the final nail in the coffin was the Napster fiasco, when almost everyone, and not just the haters, finally accused the group of being a little too money-hungry. Number 2. The Black Eyed Peas. Believe it or not, there was a time when the Black Eyed Peas weren't singing about humps and feelings and shutting up.
Focus on this, the introductionist, more than lyricists in this rap metropolis.
The group was created in 1992 and released some pretty decent alternative hip-hop albums, but they couldn't quite find an audience.
We don't use dollars to represent, we just use our innocence and talent.
2003's Elefunk was the first album recorded with new band member Fergie, and the group found wild success with Where's the Love.
That's the reason why sometimes I'm feeling under. That's the reason why sometimes I'm feeling down.
It was after that success the band's sound shifted sharply to a more party-style vibe, a change that was likely a drastic and frustrating one for longtime fans of BEP's early underground work.
I'm so 3008, you so 2008. I got that boom, 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 that future boom, boom, boom.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Kiss. It's not all bad for a band to sell out, at least when that's already their brand. Kiss are undoubtedly talented rockers, with scores of infectious classics. But they're equally recognized for their adaptiveness to pop and consumer trends across 50 years. They punctually latched onto disco, glam metal, grunge, and other hot genres. Meanwhile, the live shows kept getting more over the top, and virtually every merchandising opportunity imaginable was exploited. Some fans feel that this has diluted Kiss's artistry over time. Others believe the band never hid their commercial ambitions. Either way, one of the most profitable rock acts of all time knew how to sell out right. The most important part is dedication to producing a quality product. you think is the biggest musical sellouts? Let us know in the comments.
Let